It's a common fact that Korean fried chicken is S tier in the fried chicken canon. The sensation of the crunchy chicken shattering on your teeth to reveal that incredibly juicy meat, all piping hot, basically burning your mouth, which makes that gulp of beer and that big scoop of white rice all that much more refreshing. It takes my breath away just thinking about it. So what if I were to tell you that the best version of Korean fried chicken isn't actually Korean at all? So just like we have American Chinese restaurants and American Chinese food here in the States, you know, like crab rangoon, egg rolls, orange chicken, in Korea, they have Chinese Korean food, and it's forking delicious. And that's because Chinese immigrants from the Shandong province, you know, that little peninsula kind of poking out towards Korea, migrated to Korea when, you know, they were forced to by famine, drought, you know, bad work conditions, that sort of thing. What did they do? They opened up restaurants serving the food that they knew, Shandong food, right? Chinese food in Korea. Over time, these immigrants became savvy and started modifying the flavors of their homeland to better suit the Korean palate. Sound familiar? Flash forward to the 1950s, and the Korean War, unfortunately, was ripping. A lot of those Chinese immigrants settled in North Korea and they moved to South Korea. They experienced a lot of discrimination. It was very hard to kind of like live a normal life, to open their own businesses. So after the Korean War, during the Korean War, people started migrating all over the world, one of those places being the United States. And within the United States, you know, LA, Chicago, and New York were kind of like the big centers. Fast forward a few decades to the 1980s, and Korean Chinese restaurants are all over the United States. These restaurants looked like everyday, sort of like just regular American Chinese restaurants, but they weren't. They served specific dishes that Korean Americans would frequent because it kind of, you know, was the flavors that they knew and loved. Mostly with dishes like tansuok, aka like a sweet and sour crispy pork, jjajangmyeon, one of my favorite noodle dishes of all time, the black bean noodles. I actually did a video with this with my grandma a while back, go peep that. And of course, Gam Pong Gi, crispy fried, delicious, like sticky sweet, spicy chicken. This is where the chicken wings I was telling you about come into play. Ethnically Chinese Korean immigrants migrated to Chicago and settled where the Koreans were kind of already living. You know, Ravenswood, Albany Park, super north of the city. Actually, Lawrence, running right through Albany Park, is still considered honorary Seoul Boulevard. Little fun fact for you there. It actually used to be K-Town, but you know, since then, a lot of Koreans have moved to the northern suburbs, but I digress, that's another video. In the 80s, restaurants like Great Beijing and Great Seas opened up serving Korean Chinese fare. The chefs running these places had the idea to use, which at the time were super cheap chicken wings. Chicken wings are a little expensive these days. Back in the day, they were kind of like a trash cut. But being smart chefs and understanding that chicken wings are delicious, they decided to use these to make their own unique dish. They're basically chicken wingatizing Gam Pong Gi. These wings are called Gam Pong chicken wings, right? Kind of coming from that Gam Pong Gi, Gam Pong, Kung Pong. You can kind of see how it fuses. Now, sadly, at least here in the States, these Korean Chinese restaurants are dwindling. But there are a few places still ripping. I named them. One of those places is Great Sea Restaurant. Full transparency, I've been going to Great Sea since I was a little kid with my family, ordering it, picking it up, bringing it home, whatever. So there's a little bit of nostalgic bias kind of worked in the mix here, but I don't really think that matters. For me, it's the sauce. It's that spicy sweetness. It's rich with umami. It kind of tickles your dopamine receptors and leaves you kind of like gooning over the wing bowl. Dark sauce, I mean, visually, it just looks incredible. And again, I don't think the nostalgic part matters because if you were to try these wings, I think you would find God. It's this exact experience that inspired this deep dive. I really want to share these wings with you. They're delicious. So I've developed a recipe that I think does a pretty good job at copying the OG. So no matter where you live on this big, beautiful planet, you can enjoy Gam Pong wings in your kitchen. But just to be sure, we'll compare my recipe to the original at the end of the video. But before we get into it, a quick word from the sponsor of this video.
I know it might sound strange, but even though I cook for a living, some days my fridge is basically a food desert. And I don't know, after a long day of like filming, prepping, recipe testing, shopping, planning, whatever, all the above, my brain is just kind of cooked. And just like any other human, the last thing I want to do is more work by making dinner, cleaning it up, the whole nine. Especially when the kitchen is already a mess or it's prepped for the next day's shoot. And that's where CookUnity came into my life and definitely made it easier. Yes, sure, it is mega convenient. All meal kit services are by design, but CookUnity brings something more to the table, literally. Each meal is designed by a real-life, world-renowned chef, made fresh for you, then hand-delivered to your door. And these are not mystery meat microwave dinners. These are dishes created by people like Chef Rick Bayless and Chef Esther Choi. Take Chef Rick Bayless's steak and poblano rajas quesadilla with lime crema and salsa verde. Not only is Chef Rick Bayless from Chicago, my hometown, but I've eaten at his restaurants and his food is just outstanding, and it translates to these meals. And the website is super simple to use too. You just kind of hop on, filter by cuisine, clean or diet, and choose what looks and sounds good. If you have a favorite chef, you can see what they're up to and try their food. CookUnity is offering you guys 50% off your first order, and all you gotta do is click the link in my description and use the discount code AdamWitt50 to try it out.
Wow.
CookUnity makes it a lot more fun and interesting to know that I get to eat a meal that's been thoughtfully made by real-life chefs with real-life experience, bringing their best to the table. Even cooks need a break sometimes, and CookUnity makes that break more exciting. And of course, delicious.
All right, we gotta talk chicken here. Basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by kind of like cutting above the joint on both pieces here. So this is the drumstick joint. We're gonna cut above there, separate it like so. And then we're gonna cut above like so of the flat, boom, boom, boom. Kind of, you know, the flat's got some couple bones going on, so you can just go ahead and cut in between those bones. We're only gonna need one. All you need is to divide your wings like this. So you can see we got the drumstick, the flat, and the tip, which we'll get rid of.
It sounds gruesome and a little gnarly, but it's actually easiest to compound fracture, then twist the pieces of the wings to divide them. Pop that wingtip to the side, and again, compound fracture, then twist the flat from the drumette. From there, you're going to be able to pull the meat right to the bottom of the bone there. It's much easier to do with the drumettes. For the flats, you're going to notice two bones. Go ahead and slide your little fingies down the smaller bone, pinch it at the base, then twist it off to remove it. Then you're only left with the larger one. From there, just do the same thing as the drumette.
So my stepmom is Korean and Japanese, but Korean food was a big part of, like, you know, my childhood, like growing up, I guess, like looking back at it. And this is one of those things that we would get for like special occasions, because, you know, it was in the city, so my dad would drive up there and pick it up for the fam. And I have this one awesome memory of my dad coming home with a whole huge tray of Gam Pong Gi and jjajangmyeon, and I was upstairs with my friends playing World of Warcraft, just like landing, just being nerds, and we were so hungry, and he came in, like swooped in with the tray of the Gam Pong Gi and just like blew my mind. And like, you know, I hadn't had it in a long time. I just remember taking a bite into those wings with my friends, and you know, the Gam Pong Gi memes run deep. Core memory. Yeah, this is like celebration food. This is like Friday night food. Is it a little tedious to make? Sure, but it's a labor of love. All good cooking is a labor of love, right? You ain't lollipopping 35 chicken wings for somebody you don't really like. Definitely don't waste the wingtips. They have a lot of collagen, which turns into gelatin in your stock, gives it body and flavor. All right, let's season these puppies up. First, we're gonna go with some good old kosher salt, a sprinkle of white pepper, not black pepper, white pepper. You could totally use black pepper too, though. And of course, a smidge of the God particle, MSG. We're just gonna mix this up, make sure all that salt and pepper is just kind of worked in. There's no seasoning on the bottom. All right, so these are all seasoned up. We're just gonna pop these in the fridge to chill out and kind of absorb that seasoning while we get going on the sauce. First, we're gonna go with some ginger, some garlic, and of course our chili flake. We're making chili oil after all. Small sauce pot, neutral Earl.
Be careful not to go too far over 300 degrees Fahrenheit here. You can go a little more, but you don't want to burn the aromatics. And also be sure to use tempered glass or another heat-proof container.
Oh yeah, it's smelling insane already. So this is a great way to make like a really fast, quick, flavorful condiment slash oil, especially, you know, you need it for the sauce. But you could also use your favorite chili oil and substitute for this if you don't want to go through these steps. It would taste delicious as well. But this is just kind of an approachable way that everybody can make a pretty dang good base oil for the sauce.
Okay, for part 2 of the sauce, start with a small saucepan.
We're going in with dark soy sauce, light soy sauce, Chinese black vinegar, love this stuff. It's kind of like a Chinese balsamic. Ketchup, know it sounds weird, but trust. Corn scissor, this can also be honey if you don't have this, but, oh, geez. Remember, this is spicy and sweet, so more sugar. A healthy amount. So now we're just gonna warm this through until everything just kind of dissolves and forms a sauce. Thickens up a tiny bit. There, I can't help myself. Get out of there. Oh yeah, punchy. We love that. Look how dark and beautiful that is. And as this cools, it will thicken. All this goes into a bowl here, along with all that chili oil, garlic oil. And I know, it looks weird with the oil sitting on top there. It's like, why do you have that oily mass on top? If you whisk it a little bit, it will emulsify slightly, and that oil will rise to the top again. This isn't a super emulsified sauce. But I did this because, well, I'm comparing it to this. Now this is bottled sauce from Great Sea. This is the spicy version because the spicy one is better. You can see, look at all that oil up there. You know what I'm talking about here? You can see it's kind of got that separation. You see some chili specks and flakes in there. Most of the sauce at the bottom here. So if we kind of shake that up, it's the same idea, right? It kind of emulsifies in, the oil mixes with the sauce, and you get this. So that's the same idea here. As we whisk this, it's the same thing. Should we compare them? Yeah, let's compare them.
Here we got the Great Sea sauce. It's red and slightly viscous, but not as much as you might imagine compared to other store-bought sauces. The other thing you'll notice is the chili flakes. They load theirs up with chili flake. Love to see it. Our sauce is definitely darker. It still has a red hue to it, and again, lots of chili flake. Okay, so we're ready to fry, but first we gotta coat our lollipops in potato starch. Now I've experimented with different flours and starch, and potato starch gives off the best crunch and is most similar to Great Sea's. You're gonna dip each seasoned lolly into the starch just to cover the meat, really. Now, lower the wings into hot oil that's been preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. We're gonna let them go until the starch sets and begins to turn golden, maybe like 3 or 4 minutes. After you fried the wings one time, increase the oil temp to 375 degrees Fahrenheit and fry them again until they're golden brown. The first fry starts the cooking process, then you rest them and the moisture comes to the surface of the protein, and the second fry wicks away that moisture, leaving us with a super crispy, glassy chicky wing. See what I mean? Crisp levels off the charts. Now this might seem kind of dumb and tedious, but I like to pour the sauce off into a cup and individually dunk the wings in the sauce to ensure that the handle is clean. Now, Great Sea's doesn't do this, but I think it kind of defeats the purpose if we were just to toss this in the sauce. We want those clean handles. We went through the effort of Frenching the wings, you know?
Now that we got our wings all dunked and sauced up and looking glossy and beautiful, let's compare them to the OG. Woo! Looking pretty. So here we got the classic. It's a little darker. Then we got ours, which is still very dark, delicious. Color's nice on both. Pretty accurate, I would say. But you tell me, let me know in the comments. We gotta start with the OG. I love that. The extra hot isn't even like insanely hot. It's just hot enough to be like addicting and make you wanna keep eating more. Gotta clean the palate. Okay, moment of truth, our wings. Cheers. Yum. Such a nice way to eat a chicken wing, you know? So clean, so easy. Those are pretty similar. Now, this is an extremely sweet, salty, savory thing. So this white rice, this natural palate clearing, substantial white rice is a must. And honestly, so are the pickles. Now, if I had like, you know, the classic neon yellow daikon pickle, that Korean one, I forgot the name, but I'll put it right here. That would be perfect, and that's what's generally served with these, but kimchi works well too. We did it. And this is exciting. This is exciting. We're spreading the joy. We're spreading the Gam Pong joy. It's sad to say, but these wings are dying. You can only get them in a few different areas. So now that we have this recipe, hopefully you try them at home. Before we bounce, I want to give a massive shout out to Monica Ng and David Hammond here for making this book. If you're into regional Chicago food, I highly recommend picking it up. I learned a lot for this video from this book. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to pick it up if you're curious. Pretty good stuff. To you guys so much for watching until the end here and hanging out with me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and try these wings because they are some of my favorite on planet Earth. If you dug the video, give it a like, it helps us out. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. If you're not new to the channel, welcome back, mate. The best way to support the channel is the grocery fund, aka the Patreon. It helps me sauce the wings, buy the ingredients, and do everything I can to keep making these videos. If you could help over there, I would greatly appreciate it. But regardless, come say what's good in Discord. Got a fun little community going on over there, posting pictures of our food, doing competitions every now and again. It's a good time, it's a good vibe, so come say what up and introduce yourself. That is all I got for you this time, so until next we meet. How do you say bye in Korean? 안녕.